Welcome to the first edition of Breakfast with Brian and Tammy. I'm Brian Wagner.
I'm Tammy Wagner, and we're starting our new video series. It'll be a weekly series. Look for a new video each week where we bring you information about the real estate market in North Idaho.
From time to time, we may have guest speakers. We're going to bring in some finance people and inspectors, things like that, other people related to real estate. So in our first edition, we're going to talk about short sales and foreclosures and give you just an overview kind of what's happening in the market right now. If you look at the marketplace today, there's about, 40% of all sales are either a short sale or foreclosure. What's the breakdown on that?
I think it's about 9% short sales, 31% REOs.
Okay.
So,
all right. Mm-hmm. So what's the basic difference between a short sale and a foreclosure then?
So basic difference is really a short sale is where you're buying a home from a seller and they owe more on their home than it's worth. And so really what you're doing is the seller is making a decision to ask the bank to take less for the house than what they owe on it.
Okay, so in the case of a short sale, then the seller's still involved. So are you're making an offer to a seller? Are you negotiating with the seller, or what happens?
You kind of are. You make the offer to the seller. The seller has to sign and accept that offer. But really, you're asking the bank to make the decision. So the seller just accepts the offer, and they may or may not accept your offer. They may counter to you. But traditionally, or typically, they just accept it and send it to the bank and get the bank to make the decision on how much they'll take for it.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. And part of it is how the bank makes their decisions. There's really two pieces to that, right? There's the part where they're approving the seller for that. They fill out a
hardship form,
a hardship packet, right?
So they approve the seller that the seller is qualified for a short sale, so they really can't afford their house. Right. And then they're looking at the house and saying, how much would we take on this house? How much is this house worth to the bank? Right.
Mm-hmm. I've heard these short sales, though. I mean, are they getting cleaned up at all, or what? Yep. It seems like they've been pretty.
Yep, they're moving better now. I don't know if the process has improved. Some companies are using Equator, which is a good system for short sales, but yeah, they have improved in process. So they're not as nearly as daunting as they used to be, but they can still take time. So it's important to know that. And then REOs, on the other hand, are different, right? You're dealing directly with the bank, and so it's really kind of the same as a regular sale. I mean, there are some nuances to it, but you make an offer, the bank looks at it, they either accept it, reject it, or they make a counter offer, and you work through the process with them. So it's quite
right. So time frame wise, it may be a little slower than a normal sales process, but it's more similar to working with a standard seller in that case. I guess the major exception in both a short sale and a foreclosure is in terms of repairs and asking a bank to do repairs. Typically, if it's a foreclosure, they've already done any repairs they're planning to do by the time you're allowed in to see the house, even by the time you're making offers. In some cases, if you may be allowed to see a house where there isn't a stove in place or something, and they may end up putting in a stove. But typically, you should go in thinking that there aren't going to be any repairs.
You're buying it as is.
Yeah, you're buying it as is.
Yeah, and that's true in a short sale and a foreclosure, really. If you're buying a short sale, the seller doesn't want to spend any more money on the house. They're losing the house, so they're not typically going to make any repairs. In an REO, they've probably done as much as they're going to do, and they're selling it as is. So don't expect. You can ask, but don't expect to get repairs done. Right.
So just quickly here before we wrap it up, in terms of one thing that I always hear from people is they want to go after a short sale or foreclosure because they hear about these incredible deals out there. Mm-hmm. Are there really good deals out on short sales and foreclosures, or what's the skinny on that?
There are really good deals, but the bank also can be erroneous in how they price properties. So you can see bank-owned properties out there that are way overpriced. So it's not right to think that every single short sale and foreclosure is a good deal. Some of them are, but some of them just aren't priced right just yet.
Right, and if you look at the statistics, typically they're still selling at a pretty high percentage of what they're listed at. So it's not as if you can find something listed for $200 and go in and offer $100 and expect that you're going to get a deal.
Right. So yeah, it can happen, but it's pretty rare. So that's just in a nutshell some things that we wanted to share with you about short sales and foreclosures.
If you want to talk more about it, just get a hold of us. You can see our information on the website, or you can
at the end of this video, we'll have a little clip there, and you'll see it there.
Stay tuned next week. We're going to have Teresa Berglund with us from Eagle Home Mortgage. There's a couple of new loan programs out, and one specific to Idaho. So we're going to talk more about that next week. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.